Oh, that's great. I mean, you can see why I love your band stuff because they're both together in a real similar way. That's cool design. Oh, Van's obsessed. Okay, I keep calling it dictation, right? I mean, I call it dictation because that's what we've called it forever. I care so little about the pitch. What pitch do I care about? Do, right? From the room, and hopefully from at home too. I care about do. The rest of it you're going to fill in. Demonstrate to me that you can hear such basic things. 8 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number them if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. With the 2/8 note anacrusis, yeah? Show me that you can hear that the 2/8 note anacrusis and that note is scale-wise down. There's one particular rhythm in this that you hear over and over again with a variation. You hear this over and over again. Yeah? And the variation of that is without the second eighth here at the end. Most of the time that you hear this, a long note follows. That's the conclusion of that subphrase. And then the next measure picks up into the next phrase with a quarter note, right? Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-da-dum, bum, ba-da, okay, and so forth. How can you apply that? Well, I'm going to switch this to be down so that we don't get in the way of the numbers. You've got this right here. Okay? With the pickup, there's that phrase. Measures 3 and 4 are the same thing. There's a quarter note pickup to the same rhythm. All the way to there. So the first half of this is kind of one musical idea broken into 2 smaller bits. Then you get the pickup here, and this is the variation of the original rhythm. You might say it's a variation because I don't want it to be quite so busy. Because you get one after another, I don't want bum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-dum. I don't want this twice. I still want the illusion of some space. So instead, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. And then lastly, you get one more iteration of the full one. Some contour. I put that contour here first in black, but I'm going to switch it for a different color. Show me that you heard this was scale-wise down to that note. Show me that you heard measure 5 was a scale-wise descent, followed by measure 6 as a scale-wise descent that was lower than measure 5. That is sequence. It is rhythmic imitation, and it's melodic imitation at a different pitch level. Bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. That's sequence. What is the last note? Do. Show me that you heard that the end was a scale-wise ascent to do. I mean, Notwithstanding that this pitch is the same, right? Ba-da-da-dum. That was I'm way off key. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I'm gonna circle spaces where you should be hearing skips. There's a skip up between those two notes. And there's a skip up between those two notes. There's a skip down between those two. You're almost done. I asked for one pitch. So. One, two, three, 1, 2. There's one, what I did with these now green to black demonstrations of where there are skips. Those are larger ones, and they seem to me to come in important spots, namely over the bar line. I'm not showing the one that's in measures 1 and 3. If you wanted to, on a non-clef version of a staff, graph out what that looks like. There is that skip right there. Okay. Ba-da-dum. Okay, there is that skip right there. Even if you don't hear it as a skip, ba-da-dum. Even if you hear that instead, I'm going to put a couple of things on the board that kind of demonstrate how you might arrive at the beginning. In the key of B, if I try to start on do, do, ti, la, if I do the first one, which is correct, I end up on la, ti, do, la. And now I need to skip up from that. But I can't because it's la. And I can't skip from la. If you didn't hear it as that skip, okay, if you didn't hear this and this note as the same pitch, if you have it scale-wise there instead, you're still in the same boat of trouble. Now you're on T, and you can't skip away from T. So, know the limitations. Not like in a bad way putting you down, Landon, know your limitations, just for the class, know how you are limited as a way to train your ears. I think I've heard that term before somewhere, ear training, yes. To train your ears if they're not already hearing it. A different way to go about this would be for me to throw you back under the bus of maintaining do and ask you, where is do at the beginning of this example? Where's do? No longer rhetorical. At home too. Where is do here at the beginning? The first note of the first full measure. Do is right there. Do. Mi, re, do. Not do, ti, la, ti, do, la. That's just, that's the same piece only in the relative minor. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, it will soon. No worries. So, again, it's the maintenance of do. Now I'm going to get out. So here's 1, 2, 3, 2 down here, 4, 5 sharps, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you can hear do's here, and you heard that it was a scale-wise descent, trace it backwards. If you heard do at the end, and you know it was a scale-wise ascent, trace it backwards. And that was the same note. Okay. I'm not having you think about what these pitches are. I'm having you identify do, and at the beginning, scale-wise down to it, balanced by the end, scale-wise up to it. Okay? Trace this out. Do, re, mi. If you try to come back to re here, and you acknowledge that there's a skip that follows it, you have an illegal skip. You may not skip from re. Mi, re, do, re, mi, re. You can't skip away from there. Come back to do. Now you can skip up to so. And from so, you can skip up to do. That should let you see that measure 3 and measure 1 are exactly the same thing, only an octave different. With the sophomores right now, I would be telling them that measure 3 doesn't need to be there. All measure 3 and measure 4 are functionally is a repetition of measures 1 and 2. We get a lot into how to eliminate the chaff from melodies and get down to the simplest possible version. That will eventually be something you call Schenkerian analysis. Eliminating all the ornamentation and just getting to the simplest possible version. If I'm on T here, I cannot skip away from T. I need to go down to La, So, Fa. That's Fa. I cannot skip away from Fa. So, Fa, Mi is the same thing, a step lower. This is Mi. You already had in so, la, ti, do at the end. That's a legal skip. You're done. Because I can do magic to sound. Wow. Any Xanadu fans out there? Seriously. It's technically Gene Kelly's last film. Well, no, Ghost Story. I guess Ghost Story was. Xanadu was the last film that Gene Kelly danced in, and it wasn't very good. I got a yes. Nice, Grace. Awesome.
I don't know the names that I do. I don't know really any specific about it.
Xanadu, Xanadu. Olivia Newton-John singing with the Electric Light Orchestra. It's good stuff. Yes, now we are here. All right. Anyway, back to this. So, it all comes from identification of do, scale-wise, use of the terms the sequence. And again, for the sophomores, I'd be doing something like this. This will probably be very foreign to you. Then a fret, just let it kind of wash over you. You're just seeing it. Because even an unaccompanied melody that's tonal will have an implication of harmony. and that harmony should be functional. To wit, this is a tonic harmony followed by a dominant harmony. Then all this is a repeat of that, a tonic harmony followed by a dominant harmony. This is a dominant harmony here going to a tonic harmony. So really, all I did was hit 1 and 5. I repeated it, which means that can be eliminated. And I'm on 5-1 here. I can trace this backwards and say this is a cadential 6-4. And in between, this is some sort of neighboring 4 chord, which means all of this is just a long prolongation of that same dominant. I know, it looks bananas. Meredith's all got her brow furrowed. I'm like, don't worry, just let it wash over you. This is where the song, a year from now, this is where you are. I just want you to acknowledge that this is 1, 5, back to 1, and 5. Now we're going to put this kind of neighboring 4 chord in here. And this chord, followed by this one. All it is doing this to this to this. Eventually you will find that all common practice tonality gets to be able to be reduced to tonic, dominant, tonic. That's called a Schenkerian reduction. I would say this pitch is do, this pitch is so, which is the same as that pitch, which is why I said this 5 and this 5 are the same thing, and then back to do. Do, so do, 1, 5, 1. This is good stuff. Questions? I've got 10 to the hour, so we are by default done. But if you have questions, now's a good time to shout them out loud.
I have a question.
Yes, please ask away.
The first 2 notes, why isn't it in the first measure technically, or is it?
These 2 here,
Yeah.
think about what you heard me
Like-
count off. I counted off 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Ba-da-dum. If you wanted these to be on the downbeat, all you would have heard me count off is 1, 2, 3. Ba-da-dum. So pay attention to the count off, and eventually to be in class, you'll see me conduct those as well. But I haven't even been doing that for the people here in class. I've just been counting off. Good?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
I have a question about the exam, or not the written exam, the exam next week.
One more time, you break up a little there.
I have a question about the exam next week.
A question about what?
The exam.
Yes, go.
Can we use a metronome on it?
A metronome? Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Good question. Never thought to address that. People are fleeing now. Please get away. I'm going to start to erase things from the board.